Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another Magic the Gathering Arena Brawl deck list, and today we are taking a look at Mona Lisa Science Geek. Mona Lisa is a legendary creature lizard mutant. Her casting cost is 2 colorless and 1 green. She is from the Ninja Turtles Universes Beyond set that came out a couple weeks ago. She has Reach, she's a 1/3, and she has the tap to add X mana of any one color where X is Mona Lisa's power. So what we're going to try to do in this deck is make big mana quickly. And in order to do that, we're going to use untapping instants. So for example, Arachnoid Adaptation gives us +2/+2 and Reach and untaps it. Guac and Marshmallow Pizza gives it +2/+2 and untaps it. Gift of the Viper puts +1/+1 counter, a bunch of other counters on it, and untaps it. High Stride gives us +1/+3 and Reach and untaps it. So that is the primary goal, is to buff Mona Lisa's power by some number, some positive number, and untap her so you can tap her again. Mana neutral ones like High Stride are essentially mana neutral because you pay the 1 mana and you get the rebate because she gets +1/+0. So you start making mana on subsequent untaps of her, but it's still any instant that said untap on it, we threw in here. We're ramping out with every 1-drop elf. Our goal is to get Mona Lisa down on turn 2. This deck is a very consistent turn 4 win, assuming we have a payoff and assuming we have at least 2 of the untappers in our hand. A mana dork can get us a turn 3 big mana setup with a turn 4 win more often than not. We're also running things like Snakeskin Veil and Blossoming Defenses. They buff a little bit, but they give hexproof. That's the most important part. Ranger's Guile, same thing. We're running Wirewood Symbiote because we have a few elves. It doesn't always work out that we get an elf on the battlefield at the same time as Mona Lisa. That might need a little massaging. This deck is not perfect. I kind of just threw it together a few days ago. I've really been enjoying it, so I wanted to talk about it. That's what this video is. So Wirewood Symbiote is a very good include because it does untap, but it's only 1 untap, and I'm not sure that it's worth massaging the entire ramp base around elves just to enable Wirewood Symbiote, but it could be. Badger Mole Cub, same scenario. A Badger Mole Cub on 2 gets you an extra mana dork, which is very nice. Badger Mole Cub eats a lot of removal, which is also big because Mona Lisa, people know about this card. Nobody is thinking this is just another mana dork. If they see this in the command zone, they're going to kind of have an idea what you're doing. So you need stuff that appears to be a bigger threat, and Badger Mole Cub appears to be a bigger threat because it makes all of your mana dorks tap for 1 extra mana. But if they took a step back and thought about it, they don't know what we're doing in this deck. So maybe your Birds of Paradise and your Elvish Mystic tapping for 2, and that land that Badger Mole Cub made tapping for 2 is scarier to them at the time, but Mona Lisa tapping for 9 and then untapping and tapping for 10 and then untapping and tapping for 12 is definitely better. So we want people to continue thinking Badger Mole Cub is the better target for their removal and leave Mona Lisa alone. So that's why this card gets the inclusion. It's mostly stigma based. Our 2-drop, we're running Aim High, Biosync Birth. Boon of Boseiju is very good. It's only a +3 on Mona Lisa. It's better in certain situations. But if you do get some bigger stuff out, it scales, right? So if you have a Shia out, then all of a sudden you're giving Mona Lisa +5/+5 and untapping her with Boon of Boseiju. So it's just a great card in this deck. Collective Resistance helps us deal with artifacts, enchantments, and it also gives hexproof and indestructible, which is very nice. Courier of Comestibles is a creature that goes and gets our pizza. So we have 2 tutors in this deck for 1 pizza. The pizza's not that important. It just does the thing we're trying to do, and we can't tutor any of the other ones out because none of them are on creatures. So Hurt Heirloom, Heroic Intervention, Mass Vandal, and Chomping Changeling are also in here for artifact and enchantment destruction. Michelangelo and Mutagen Man work very well together, so we're running those 2. Frenzied Baloth is a concession to counterspell decks. Chrome Dome is part of the Chrome Dome, Guac Marshmallow Pizza Mona Lisa combo loop. That can end the game on its own. Nothing gives trample there, so you would need something that gives trample. But essentially, you can buff Mona Lisa's power infinitely once she hits 5 power to pay for Chrome Dome's create a token that's a copy ability, and then just run your opponent over. Formidable Speaker is the tutor for whatever. It's your toolbox tutor. Konamo of the West Tree helps us ramp. Palantir of Ornthak is kind of just in here as in a flex spot. It does kind of pseudo draw cards, and it can get in some residual damage as the game goes on. Staff of Domination is basically a 2-card win con with Mona Lisa, assuming you can get Mona Lisa to 5, because once Mona Lisa hits 5, you are netting infinite mana on the untap target creature for 3, untap this artifact for 1 loop. It takes a long time. The arena interface is not really set up well for it, but if you're quick enough, you can get a game finished that way. I don't like it, but it does work. Tezzeret Cruel Captain is in here mostly for his 0 because he is an untapper. He will untap Mona Lisa. That can be important in long games. 1,000-Year Elixir gives us pseudo haste. Its ability haste, and it untaps. Formidable Speaker also untaps. That's nice. Ouroboride, because Ouroboride can just win the game on its own. Sereth is in here to give us some hexproof, and it also untaps. One Ring is not in here to do any tricky shenanigans or whatever. It gives us the 1 turn. I usually play it on curve, just start drawing cards with it, because you want to have a full grip with this, because you want to have as many pump abilities as you can, so this helps keep your hand full. Ashaya turns all of your creatures into ramp, turns them all into forests, which is nice, and it works well with Deserted Temple. It allows Deserted Temple to untap Mona Lisa. I'll touch on the mana base now. I have 36 forests and Deserted Temple in here. I have not even gone through the utility lands. I'm sure there are a million utility lands that I could be using in here that are better than forest, but here we are. That's what I used. We're going to that'll be my next upgrade to this deck, is I'll go through the land base. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them below. That would be awesome, actually, if I didn't have to dig through every land that Magic ever printed. Dread Linorm, I almost didn't include this, but it has been very good. The power of putting 2 +1/+1 counters on Mona Lisa, untapping it, and giving her hexproof is very, very good. It's an instant. You will frequently have 4 mana laying around. This card is better than its rarity would tell you. You're not often gonna. It's a good blocker on the ground too. It's a 7/6 body that you can probably cast the turn after you play Scale Deflection, but it's in here for the adventure side of it. Sire of 7 Deaths, great blocker. Ugin deals with troublesome permanents whenever you cast one of your very few colorless spells. Craterhoofs, Emrakul's. This is the only card in the deck that can't be played in Commander. This deck could be ported to Commander. I do not know how this will scale to a 4-player pod. This works great at 25 life 1v1. I don't know how I would scale it to a pod. That's kind of my puzzle for the next phase of this deck, is putting it in paper and trying to scale it. Emrakul is our primary win con. I have a couple of ways to go and get her. Green Sun Zenith, not one of them. Emrakul's not green. Can't get it with Green Sun Zenith. I learned that lesson, actually. I knew that lesson, but I relearned that lesson. It is what it is. You're using this to go get Ouroboride, to go get Sereth, to go get Formidable Speaker. Any utility piece you might need. Craterhoof is obviously a great one. Goldvein Hydra is great to ramp into. It will take as much mana as you want to put on it, and it'll be a Vigilance, Trample, Hasty guy that if they kill will leave a bunch of treasures behind. It is the perfect card for this deck. I love this card in this deck. Valgavas Onslaught won me a couple of games. This is the fastest win I've had, I think. At turn 3, I was able to get Mona Lisa up to... I was able to produce 17 mana on turn 3 to manifest Dread 8 times and put 8 counters on 8 creatures, on 8 counters and 8 2/2s. So I added 80 power to the board on turn 3, and my opponent conceded. So that's a turn 3 win. Technically turn 4 because I would have had to swing the next turn. It doesn't give haste, but that's the fast. This is responsible for the fastest win so far in my experience with this deck. Finale of Devastation is probably the biggest the biggest way to win. You're gonna try to make 15 mana, go get Emrakul. Emrakul is gonna be a 30/30. She's gonna win you the game on the spot, essentially. Genesis Wave and Chord of Calling are the other two big ones. Chord of Calling goes and gets your Crater Hoof more often than not, or again, one of your utility pieces. Genesis Wave just gets you all of your cards. You play Genesis Wave for X equals 15, X equals 20. You're just going to puke your deck out onto the battlefield. And that's the deck. I mean, there's really nothing to it. It is very linear. It is a very straightforward game plan. You are going to get Mona Lisa out as fast as you can, hopefully on turn 2. If she eats a removal spell, whatever, you play her again on turn 4. And the game plan doesn't change. You are just trying to get Mona Lisa as big as possible to cast the biggest thing possible, and it's a ton of fun. I highly, highly, highly suggest you check out a Mona Lisa deck. I have some gameplay footage coming up after this breakdown here, and there are some fun games there, so stick around, check those out if you like that footage. Go ahead and leave a like. I'm going to put the deck list. I have a Moxfield deck list for this. It has changed a little bit. I'll make sure to update it, but that'll be in the deck description. Maybe I'll put it in the comments. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.
prizes in this system. Make yourself useful. Mana still obeys me here.